So I have, since I graduated college, spent my career working with refugees and immigrants.
I have worked with lots of different groups from different countries, primarily focused on Latin American countries, because I'm fluent in Spanish.
I'll admit, when DACA first came out, I actually thought it didn't go far enough. So DACA allowed people that came here as children to be able to apply for a work permit, to be protected from deportation. It did not give them a path to citizenship, so not to be here permanently. And it also doesn't do anything to help their parents.
Lots and lots and lots of people, were brought here with their families. You know, they did not come here simply seeking an American dream. The American dream for them was, I want my children to actually grow up. I don't want them killed. I don't want them to be victims of crime. I don't want them to be kidnapped. I don't want there to be extortion. I've had, young adult clients say to me, being sexually abused by family members, being sexually abused by gang members in the neighborhood, again, the extortion, you can only leave your house if you pay us a certain amount, and if you don't, we're going to kill so-and-so. I mean, these are real stories of real people and why people have come here. I've worked with people, who have grown up in some of the states of Mexico where the drug lords are basically in charge of everything. They have co-opted the police. And when they come for you, they come for you. So the only solution is try to get out.
I think anyone that's a parent or a grandparent would know that you do what you want to do to protect your child, and that's why people come here, is to give a better life for their children. And it's not safe where they are back home.
Many of them, until they were teenagers, had no idea, and really until the issue kind of became more public, did they find out, oh my gosh, we don't have documents to be here. My parents had never done the paperwork necessary, or they hadn't been able to, or didn't even know there was. DACA came and gave an opportunity for these people to be able to get a work permit, to go from jobs that they were getting paid for under the table with no kinds of benefits, no sick leave, no insurance, nothing, to having a work permit and then being able to then get jobs that paid better. They were able to go into jobs in higher education, for example. A lot of people became teachers and other sorts of social kinds of jobs that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to apply for. By and large, in terms of nationality, Mexican, followed by El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras. They represent 9 out of 10 of all DACA recipients.
They had to be brought here at the age of under 18, so typically there's a lot of high school students and college students that benefit from DACA. I just remember hearing a DACA recipient speak at an event where she said when DACA came out, that was the first time she felt like a Kentuckian.
My name is Sandra Martinez, and I have lived in Kentucky since I was a little girl. I grew up in Louisville, and I graduated from Central High School, even though I've always felt like a Kentuckian. I've spent most of my life without any immigration status. Through deferred action for childhood arrivals, which is an executive order by President Obama, I was able to get a job and a driver's license. I was able to go to college. Right now I'm a senior at the University of Kentucky studying geography. The threat of deportation has loomed over, but I started to feel safe with DACA. However, last semester, everything changed. As I was studying for my computer science final, the election results came in. The man who campaigned on a platform which demonized undocumented people and made us out to be criminals had won. And on top of that, he had promised mass deportations. I felt like a child. I felt helpless. There was nothing I could do to make my family feel safe. Instead, all I could do was make sure there was a contingency plan in case my parents got deported. All I could think about is, where would my brother and sister go? What lawyers would I contact? Would I need power of attorney over my siblings? Do I have enough money saved up in case I need to provide for them? Would I be deported?
People thought, well, I think at least DACA will be safe, because who would want to hurt the children. So then when that was announced, it was just really awful. And it just left a lot of people feeling very uncertain and scared because all their information is with the U.S. government to apply for DACA in the first place. So now they don't know, will they be deported? Or, will they be able to keep working? Will they be able to keep going to school?
There's that sense of betrayal and bewilderment of like, but this is my country. This is where I grew up. This is where my friends are. This is all I know. This is all I remember. Or these are the only good memories I have. And so the idea of, yeah, but you can't stay here. Yeah, but you can't belong here. We'll never let you belong here completely. It's very bewildering. It's very upsetting. There have been a lot of crises at universities. I worked with somebody who actually had gotten a full ride scholarship. It wasn't on the initial application to go to university that this person was not documented. Got to the university, in school, everything's going great, gets called to the bursar's office and told, I'm sorry, we have to rescind everything. Here's how much you owe us. So went from, I have a full ride, I'm gonna, have this great career, I'm gonna actually get higher education, to, oh my gosh, how am I gonna pay this thousands and thousands of dollars? The person felt like the rug was pulled out from under his feet. And this is somebody who's basically spent their whole life in this country. Those cities are going to have it'll be an exodus. Now, it would be staggered over 2 years, but still, that's a huge amount of people. And would their families go with them? That's the other part of it. Will they deport the whole family? The parents who are working primarily in restaurants, doing kitchen prep, cleaning hotel rooms, all kinds of labor that no one else wants to do. In Kentucky, the tobacco pickers, the roofers, the painters, things that people say, nope, I don't want to do it, it's too hard.
And I think it is a bipartisan issue. Most people can't argue that people that came here as children, they agree that they should be able to stay because they don't even know their home country. If they were sent back, some don't even know the language of their home country. They've never lived there. This is their country, so they belong here. So I think most people can agree with that, but then people think, but their parents, let's throw them under the bus. They need to be sent back. But I think, I think about the parents, and they deserve to be here too. And we forget about them in the conversation.
This was a relative of a DACA person that I was working with. So this person has an employment card. The parents do not, but the employer wasn't paying the adult. And so the adult decided to go to a lawyer, talk to a lawyer to see if they could get that money back. And that's happening over and over. I mean, that's happening everywhere now too. It's just employers not paying and saying, if you complain, I'll call ICE on you, to get the person to desist. So then that created a whole nother level of crisis for this family of where they're going to be split up just because they wanted due process. The work had been done, but because they're vulnerable, people are taking advantage of that over and over and over and over. I know so many people who are getting paid 2 weeks out of every month, and that's it. And then it's just kind of like, what are you going to do about it?
Nearly 800,000 people have benefited from DACA. 87% of them are employed. So that's hundreds of thousands of people that are working, paying taxes, going to school. And they're just like any other kid or young adult. And losing that population would be a detriment to the United States and just to I think what our country is about.
Losing the young professionals, losing the people who have successfully been able to blend together two different cultures, to be bilingual, to be able to navigate and bring communities together, to suddenly take that whole group and say, sorry, you have to go. It's going to impact all levels. You know, we're going to suddenly have much less qualified people. We're going to have shortages, you know, in terms of especially teaching, which we already have teaching shortages, but then, you know, places where bilingual teachers are desperately needed or ESL teachers are desperately needed, we're going to be losing these people. So who is going to step in?
All right. Is there any chance that this program can be saved? And if not, what should we do?
I really hope. I mean, I think there is a groundswell in terms of grassroots movements. I hope that our representatives will continue to listen. And they're not listening that well, but I'm hoping that eventually they'll understand the repercussions that are economically based. I know that if that many people got sent back to Mexico, there are definitely going to be political repercussions in terms of U.S. and Mexican relations. So hopefully that's another layer of pressure. I discount the other governments because they are not as important in terms of trade partners. Those are other external pressures that I would hope can also help push towards resolution in a way that's positive. But it's really anybody's guess.
So I don't think the administration is going to restore it as it was, but the possibility to save it is to pass legislation, and that it would be with the DREAM Act. The DREAM Act has been introduced in the House and the Senate, and it's bipartisan with a Republican and a Democrat sponsor. So that is the fix that we need, because if that could pass, that would allow everyone that had DACA to have permanent residence status, which is actually better than DACA. DACA was just a temporary stay from deportation. This would allow them to be here as permanent residents.
I think the biggest thing that average people can do is to add their voices. When there are organized events such as Mi Gente or other events, mostly, there are a lot of things on social media. I mean, you can log on to pages that are about the Dreamers. There's a Dreamers page, there's a Mi Gente page, there are lots of pages that you can find that organize events all over the United States. And I think just showing up, just being another face.
Talk to your elected official. I mean, they count the number of calls, they count, the emails they get. So if there's something important to you, you need to pick up the phone. It takes 2 minutes to call your senator and your representative and tell them you support the DREAM Act. It's important to say you support a clean version of the DREAM Act, meaning they just pass it as it stands and don't try to add anything else onto it. There have been concern that it would be part of the bill. They would say, well, for this population, we're gonna, give them the path of citizenship for the Dreamers, but also we're gonna put money in for the border wall.
I have lots of people come in who are now having panic attacks, anxiety, depression, suicidal thought. People who feel trapped enough to say, you know what, I think I might rather die than go back to that.